Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm Ed, and I'll be talking to you guys today about some brake pads. Brake pads can be a little bit confusing. There's a ton of different pad shapes on the market, a lot of which look quite similar. And there's a couple different compounds and a few different backing materials, fins, no fins, all that kind of stuff that can be a bit convoluted when you're trying to figure out what you need for your bike and your riding. So don't worry about any of that. We're going to go over all of it today. Starting off with pad shape, we can see there's a lot of different pad shapes on the market. Which one you need will be completely dependent on the brake you have. In general, brakes that have 4 pistons are going to need a larger pad like this DO2S, and brakes that have 2 pistons are going to have a smaller pad like this guy from SRAM. A lot of times the pad shape is going to be dependent on the brand of brake you have. But one thing to note is that all TRP and Tektro brakes actually do use Shimano pad shapes. SRAM is a lot more just their own pads. So if you have a SRAM brake, you're going to be running either a SRAM pad or an aftermarket equivalent. Next up, we're going to be talking about compounds. There's 2 main types, organic and metallic, also referred to as resin and sintered, with a third type in between that'll be referred to as semi-metallic. First up, we're going to start with our organic pads. These are going to be what's most likely to come stock on your bike. They're a little bit of a softer compound, so they wear out a bit quicker, but they're also easier on your rotors. And there are in fact some rotors that are soft enough metal that they are only rated for organic pads and will not be able to be used with metallic pads. Some of the benefits of organic pads would be good initial bite, and of course that wear rate that we mentioned earlier for your rotors. On top of that, they're going to be nice and quiet. The other main option for pad types are going to be the metallic ones. These guys are going to be really good for a bunch of reasons. One, they offer a lot better stopping power and a lot more consistent stopping power in the wet. So if you're, a full season rider, you're riding the bike park, rain or shine, or if you maybe live elsewhere where you have a bit of a longer riding season, something like this is going to be pretty ideal. The only kind of downfall to that is that they do make a bunch of noise when it's wet. It's nothing to be concerned about, there's nothing wrong, but they do make noise. The other thing is, because they're a metallic compound, the pad is made out of metal. So they do actually wear out your rotors faster than the softer organic compounds. One other thing, and one of the primary reasons that I run these on my bikes, is that under very heavy braking, so think ripping into a corner, braking as late and as hard as possible, these guys do not fade as much as the organic pads, which can, under heavy braking, glaze over and then not work as well. Lastly, we have semi-metallic pads. As you might have guessed, these are going to be a bit of a mixed bag, taking properties from both organic and metallic pads to give you a mix of performance. For backing materials, we have 2 primary options. We've got our steel backing and our aluminum backing. Steel backings are going to be a little bit heavier. Aluminum backings are going to be a little bit lighter. There are also different heat transfer properties between them. The steel pads are going to retain more heat in the pad, whereas the aluminum pads are going to transfer more heat to your caliper and fluid. One final kind of option for a number of different brake pads is going to be fins, like we have here on this Shimano pad. These are basically just designed to help cool air flush through your caliper and pull heat away from the pad. In this case, this guy also has an aluminum backing, again, to help with that heat removal. There are some differing opinions from brand to brand on how this works and whether or not it's actually a good thing, just based on the operating temperature that they've intended for the brake. Shimano obviously is big into it and has their whole Ice Tech system, which does work quite well. But there's other brands like SRAM and to some extent TRP that actually prefer to keep a little bit of heat into the rotor to work with a slightly higher operating temperature. So you might be asking, that's all good and well, great information, but what pads do I need for my riding? Well, Most road riders are probably going to opt for an organic pad, just being that you'll be braking lightly over a longer period of time, and with an aluminum backing because they're a little bit lighter and help keep them a little bit cooler, being that organic pads do have a lower operating temperature than sintered pads. For mountain biking, you'll have either organic or metallic options, but generally I tend to recommend metallic options. They're more consistent in their braking power, they work better in the wet, so they're great all season, and on top of that, they're a lot less fade resistant because they have a higher operating temperature. Whether you want to go finned or non-finned, steel or metallic, that's going to be kind of up to you based on your brake. I know that was a lot of information to digest, so if you do have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments below, or you can reach out to us, in store, on the phone, email, live chat. We're really quite available. If you like this video, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.